All right, ladies and gents, welcome, welcome. We have a 1v1 on Arena, 630 elo average between these two players. And we've got Brock Higgs in the blue. I swear that this was like a hockey player at some point. I recognize the name. I can't figure it out. But anyways, it's a Canadian player apparently. Playing Kumans here, 630 elo. Kuman's a very good arena civ. And we'll get to that. And then here in the red, we have Sir Saul Goodman, which to be honest is why I wanted to cast this initially, because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. Also, I just said I didn't get a chance to finish Better Call Saul. I only watched like a couple episodes, to be honest, so I might do that at some point. But we've got Sir Saul Goodman. I looked at his profile, and Saul Goodman was on his icon too, his avatar image, so he's embracing the character. Perfect. Now, Arena, a map with stone walls, okay? A map that makes people feel safe. And with that safety, and you have a civ like Kumans over here, you can do a lot of booming, you can add a lot of eco, and you can lose villagers. I guess that's the only thing you're not safe from is the boars. Well, that wasn't pretty for blue. But anyways, Kumans is the only civilization that can make a second TC in the feudal age. So that is one of the reasons that Kumans is top tier. You can rush to feudal age, you can make that TC, and you can have more villagers than your opponent quite early. Blue with an interesting start here. He decided to bring the boar in rather early. He does have lots of sheep. But I like it so far. Keeping the villager production going. Obviously, losing the villager hurts. Going to make a lumber camp here for an efficient wood start. And hey, Sir Saul Goodman is also going for a lumber camp. So our 630 elo players have listened to my advice. And are avoiding the straggler trees, at least for now. I like that. Now, taking one or two straggler trees is actually not bad. Right? The issue becomes when you're, like, chopping way out here. So, T90 really up to date in his minor league hockey players? Nah, he said he's not a hockey player. Wait, he didn't even play in the NHL? Okay, then it was just a lucky guess. It was just a lucky guess. So he did play. Brock Higgs plays for the Bratislavian Capitals, born 1992 and shoots left-handed. Okay, that was a lucky guess, man. Like, I'm a hockey guy, but I don't really know minor league players unless it's for my team. All right, anyways. So, let's talk Bulgarians. Bulgarians are very unique civ. One of, is it 2 or is it 3 nowadays? I think one of 2 civilizations that doesn't get the crossbow upgrade. So, you got to forget about that archery range until way later, where you could maybe unlock some other things. They have fantastic infantry, though, and they have fantastic cav. And the big thing that I think you could do on Arena if you really wanted to be an aggressive player is you can drop Krepos. Krepos are like a mini castle. They cost only 350 stone, and I feel like a good strat for this map is maybe fast castle into a Krepos drop, and then you freak your opponent out. Of course, you could, in theory, shoot down their gate or their wall, and then afford to just make another Krepos, and the opponent might not know what to do against that. So I kind of like Bulgarians for that reason. Their unique techs and everything. I think what's cool about them is this is a civilization that pretty clearly has good infantry and has good cav, and their unique techs, apply very much towards those things. You have one for infantry and one for cav, and so there's a lot of unique techs across Age of Empires 2 that are kind of meh or situational. We talked about the Japanese one a moment ago. We talked about, well, we didn't talk about, but you could say Slavs. I think they still have orthodoxy. I don't understand why the devs have never changed that. Extra armor on monks, like, is very rare that you ever see that. So anyways, unique techs are, I guess, unique typically, and you don't see a lot of them, but with Bulgarians, you can take really good advantage of both your unique techs. I was saying hockey, not hotkey. Sorry. Hot key and hockey sound very similar, I guess. All right, so I'm trying to figure out their build orders. Saul Goodman isn't really interested in taking this boar or the deer, which is concerning. Because, for blue Blue's got berries coming in. Blue's got sheep. Took both boars, I think. So that's pretty good for blue, taking advantage of all the food that's available. But we are 650 elo, so red's like, I forgot a house. So we're going to see red realize that in a second. Or maybe just go feudal age. Feudal? Maybe? Red's also sitting next to the wall. Red is now making the house and says, okay, I might as well go feudal. Perfect. Wait, what the? Did he attack that boar? I looked away for a split second. Okay, he was going to build a house, but he saw the meat. My guess is red completely forgot the boar was there until he tried to make the house. And okay, this villager decides he wants to be a vegan now after seeing how cruelly the boars are treated. So he's off to farm. And then this guy is going to make the houses. All right. So not really a fast castle. I call this a slowish feudal into eco upgrades. It's a slow soul. It's a slow castle. Just easing their way there. You wouldn't expect players at this elo to really have a really good fast castle build in the first place, right? Like with blue, I look at this, and it's not a fast castle. And we see a barracks, so it could be military. But I also still have a feeling that if a player picked Cumans, they want to go for the second TC. So just adapting as they go, I guess. Adapting as they go. Rohan says, what was it like growing up Amish T90? I wasn't Amish. I know people did call me Amish as a joke. And I just so happened to live an hour away from the actual Amish. There's a lot of coincidences there, okay? Sheltered child. People called me Amish on the internet. Happened to live close to the Amish. One might think, maybe T90 was actually Amish. You know what, guys? I will admit it. After all these years, the way I was able to stream and play Age of Empires was I had a little like pedal, like a sewing wheel, you know? And so the reason I was able to stay in such good shape was I was just consistently pedaling that wheel so I could keep the power on the game. Late at night, like 3 a.m. in the backyard, in the barn, you know? Had to be real quiet about that. But no, dude, the Amish are freaking cool, man. They make amazing food. They're really nice people. I really didn't run into them too frequently, but occasionally growing up, we would go to like markets and whatnot. Anyways, I digress. Blue. Has options, right? Could go, like, made a barracks, and Cumans have cheap follow-up buildings, archer ranges, and stables. So could do that. Could also do the TC. And then we have red, Saul Goodman, going double barracks in the middle of the map. Oh, excuse me, that's a barracks blacksmith. I'm wrong. Okay, and is going to make a mill here. For farming, or maybe even the deer. Big Amish demographic in AoE, right? So this is clearly a player who wants to think about map control, right? A little risky to come out here, obviously, but is thinking about map control. Now we've got a TC. Now the second TC takes a while to build. And that's something that will eventually complete, but this is going to take forever. But it's going to be up there, and it's going to be an option for blue. And I think blue is pre-building these farms for when these villagers finish the bushes. They're going to have the next job. Yep, you've got 6 farmers. 6 farms, and you've got 6 on berries. Double mining camp on gold. I think that's a little excessive, but it does actually help the efficiency because it's an awkward gold to place a mining camp. Forging right now. Well, you know what, guys? We actually have man-at-arms as well. Holy, what the... This is not Arabia, my friend. This is not an open map. Your opponent has stone walls to protect themselves. But Sir Saul Goodman, you know, Mr. Proactive Saul Goodman, he's always on top of it. And supplies! Oh, Saul Goodman would love supplies, wouldn't he? That's right. You know, the Age of Empires equivalent of money laundering, I guess, is to research supplies. And you're able to stow some of that food away inside your bank here at the top right. Now, blue sees this. So, You know, he's aware, but I don't know if Blue's actually aware. You know, Brock, he spends most of his time playing hockey in Yugoslavia, would you say? I don't know. Apparently, it is actually a hockey player. But I don't know if it's the actual hockey player, of course. That's kind of a funny side note. And, you know, should hear the attack signals now, at least. And should probably try and bring the scout home. I think a lot of low elo players say, I don't want to bring that pressure into my base, and they just let the scout die, too. That's also a strat. Yeah, why did I say Yugoslavia? That was not what you had said to me earlier. Okay, so now we're gonna see Castle Age for Blue. Honestly, not bad. Second TC didn't really get a lot of value right now, but not bad. Blue does lose the scout. Rip. He falls right next to the relic. And then you've got big feudal age investment from Sir Saul Goodman. And Saul just wants to keep an eye on things, right? Can see the stone, can see the gold, and can see the enemy walls. But what's good about Blue's situation is Blue, while upping the Castle Age, can produce more villagers. This is huge. It's a massive lead over Saul Goodman, and it's why I would never suggest making feudal age military, or at least like food feudal age military, until you are on the way to Castle Age. That would be my general tip. T90 sheltered kid, right? Yeah. Calm down. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see Fast Castle and no Krepos drop here. I feel like it suits the Civ matchup. The Kuman player booming with a lot of vills, but not having army. And then the Bulgarian player just smashing him in the face with a Krepos. But we do see Sir Saul Goodman now on the way. Everyone who's listening to me right now has seen Breaking Bad, right? I just like to be clear. Also, Brock Higgs loves to use the market. Look at this whole list. Look at this. From 14 minutes to 20 minutes. Just market. Wants to have stone for a castle without mining stone. You did not. What? Didn't watch it? Interesting. Well, I would suggest it. It is... I feel like, you know, maybe this is extreme, but you ever watch a good show or watch a good movie and think, man, if I could just watch that for the first time again? Or even Age of Empires, man, if I could play it for the first time again and just feel that elation and that mystery and that wonder. I really wish, like, I probably watched through the whole thing like 3 times. Like, I really appreciated Breaking Bad. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I wish I could go back and watch it. I think it's one of the best series ever, yes. I really do. But anyways, back to the game here. We will have instant longswords. Watch the transformation. Whoa! There we go. Instant transformation. And Red says, I'm going to drop a Krepos now. Now, the logic from Red is pretty sound, right? Saul Goodman saying, let's control the map and take all those resources. The problem with delaying your Castle Age time to make all this, and then in Castle Age doing this, is that as the players get better, if they can just do the whole boom thing, as we call it, they're going to have an eco, and they can push you back. And Kumans actually have Capture M available in Castle Age. Of course, with this eco, you could go Imp and make Trebs, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't feel ideal. In theory, however, Blue is going to see this, and Blue might be like, whoa, what do I do? And the big thing I think you should also do if you're in Red's position, playing it like this, is you should try and get the relics. If you can snag all those relics and bring them back to your base, you're going to be sitting pretty. But anyways, if you've never seen Breaking Bad, that makes sense why no one even thought my Saul Goodman references were interesting. Saul Goodman is in Breaking Bad. He's a lawyer. And there's another series called Better Call Saul, which is like more focused on him, which I've heard was good, but I never really got into yet. Third TC for Blue, and Blue I've been seeing this a lot today. A lot of these lower elo players like to build the TCs on the same part of the screen because it's easier for them to see them and produce out of all of them. So I say a lot, you have to play towards your weaknesses and you have to play against your strengths. And if multitasking is a weakness for you, if producing out of all the TCs is difficult for you, this is a compromise that can make it easier. Rohan, what's up? He says, hey, T90, is the monastery technology faith 750 food, 1k gold ever worth it? You cannot say it depends. I can't say it depends. Okay, depends. It is. Okay, it does depend. Okay, but I will also answer your question. It is worth it sometimes, yes. I would say in particular with Persians. Because Persians do not get heresy. So if you have a lot of war elephants and then your opponent's going for monks to convert the elephants, they will convert those elephants and they will switch teams. So faith makes it so it takes a lot longer. Actually, or am I wrong? Do Persians not get faith? I know they don't get heresy. It is actually possible they lack both of those, but I think they get faith. Okay. Yeah, it's situational, right? Like, you pretty much... It has to be a pretty extreme situation for you to be able to afford that just to resist conversions, but, you know, I have seen it before, and it can be helpful. Ooh, Steppe Lancer's here for blue. Okay. So a lot of players will see this and, like, start attacking it. They won't know what to do, and they freak out. So this is where we get to find out if blue can adapt and formulate some type of game plan. You don't really need to deal with this until probably Imp. You've got a castle here, right? So I don't mind seeing military being produced right now. That's not a bad thing because you do want that map control. But when you see this, then that's probably the point where blue will say, oh, okay, I'll stop spending food on Steppe Lancers and upgrades and go up to Imp. His wife was so annoying. Yeah, I mean, every good show, so maybe I'm too old now, but like I'll even watch shows just if I think the acting is incredible. Even if I hate the character, I'll be like, oh my god, that actor is so incredible because it makes me hate that person more. I think in the case of, we're not going to talk about Breaking Bad a lot, but I think that that's something that as I watch the show back, I'm like, wow, it's really good. So red does not have a castle. Blue didn't see the crepe post, but saw the conic. I don't know if blue knows where conics come from. The conics happen when a mama comic and a baby... Kidding. Anyways, I'm not sure if he knows exactly how conics work, but conics can only be produced from the crepe post or from the castle. This will be relic number 1 for Sir Saul Goodman. Obviously, he's had a lot of time with map control here, but is taking some of the golden stone. Getting a lot of upgrades, too. I mean, both players really have, but in particular, red. All the eco techs. I think the first and second gold tech came in. This is the second stone tech coming in. Also, we have a handcart. So there's really not a lot of eco upgrades that red's going to be missing out on. And this is classic. Blue's like, we're going to attack. We want it to be really, really strong. So you're going to mass all this stuff, and then you're going to run into a castle or a crepe post, and you're not going to know what to do. And then, you know, if you wouldn't have produced the military, if you would just be imping, basically, if you knew about that, you could just prep trebs, you know? So, the tip would be run out and scout, even if you lose a unit or something, but... Still, I really like blue's position here, though red has caught up with villagers. Well played, and red is getting relic number 2. T90, when are Steppe Lancers better than Knights? I think Mongol Steppe Lancers in particular right now, because they get extra HP, are an underrated unit. And I think you could justify them more frequently. First and foremost, Steppe Lancers over Knights if you don't have a lot of gold. Because Steppe Lancers cost 70 food, 30 gold. Whereas Knights are a lot more gold intensive. I think Steppe Lancers are a good unit in those situations, but also if you want to mix them in with some Knights. Because the downside of Steppe Lancer is less attack, less HP, and less armor, right? So that means you're worse against archers. However, what makes you better against archers in some ways is you have that one tile range. So I think you have knights mixed with steppe lancers. That way you can tank a bit more. And the steppes are pretty good at grouping up, helping with the steppe lancers. So, but yeah, Mongol steppe lancers are no joke, man, because they actually have a lot of HP. Whereas these steppe lancers, granted, he doesn't have bloodlines, but it's only 80 HP. 80 HP, and they lack the pierce armor of a knight. So steppe lancers are definitely in a weird spot. The devs added them, and Cumin steppe lancers were like the most OP thing ever. Cumins and steppe lancers the first couple months of the game. I mean, I so don't miss those days. There's videos on it if you guys look on my channel. And so anyways, I would say that at this point, the devs, like, if they make them... It's a unit that's either going to be super, super dominant all the time or, like, not very viable in most cases. So I would say exception can be made for Mongols just because they get the extra HP. Like, there was a time where... I can't even believe this is the case, but, like, steppe lancers mowed everything. They mowed everything, and the second Cumin TC built, like, really fast. Or faster than it does. So you just go 2 TC, boom, you could never stop it, into steppe lancers. And it would just kill every single strategy. But hey, we've got elite steppe lancer now. And so I think Red has had a similar problem here where he's fortifying all this, but he's like, hey, come and get me. And he always has a very late imp time. So there's not really stopping, there's not a lot stopping blue from just making trebs and trebbing all this back. I really think Red, this whole game has been overinvesting, let's put it that way. Overinvested into Feudal Age to take this position. And then upon arriving to Castle Age, he was behind. Overinvested into Castle Age with this position. He's going to arrive to Imp, but he's going to be behind because he's going to be behind in upgrades and he's going to lose the position. So I like taking map control. I just don't like the way he's doing it. He's now going to double down. And this is a panic situation, right? You're like, okay, now I'm going to go for more. What he really needs is he needs to find a good unit comp here. I will say the elite steppe lancers look really cool. And I think the go-to unit here would probably be Halb with Rams, maybe. Like a lot of pointy boys. But you could also maybe justify Cavalier. Again, steppe lancers aren't necessarily better than that. Okay, so he's going to repair this castle, and Saul then doesn't build the other castle. Yeah, he's just not doing himself any favors. Like, he got a really big eco, but he keeps... He's like, hey, hit me, hit me, hit me. And Blue's like, okay. This is like... To use a weird sports analogy, it's like Red is just giving alley-oop after alley-oop or assist to Blue. He's assisting the enemy. He's like, here, have it. You've got trebs? Great. Boom. So unfortunately, in his mind, he felt he needed to hold this. I think you got to cut your losses and have this castle be back here, right? If this castle was back here, it'd already be up, and you can think about what you're going to do here. Okay. There's archers inside of there. So he had faith in the arrow fire from his Krepos and from his castles. He's getting conscription out of this castle now, so his military will create faster. But what he really needs to do is decide on what he wants to make. And if the answer was conic, then he definitely played it wrong, because he put all of his important buildings forward. But he could go for other things here. I'm with all the sports references today, man. I'm not really into basketball. I used to watch it more. I don't know. Doesn't really interest me these days. But I'm still aware of it, obviously. Now, this was pretty good from Blue. What I'm curious on is how he follows this up, if he follows it up. Because some players will just chill now and say, okay, well, I'm in good spot. But if you don't give Red time, if you continue to spam steppe lancers and bring the trebs forward, I think this is game over for Red. Red is really struggling. He's behind in military. He's no momentum right now. Blue still missing the final armor upgrade for the Steppe Lancers, but who cares, man? Who cares? It almost feels like a regicide game right here. Like there's a king in there or something. Nope. King's in the other castle. Good job, Blue. And he's only producing out of 2 stables. So, how many people can relate to Red's situation right now? He wanted map control, so he made castles and he boomed behind. Seems good, right? So it's a bit similar to, I could compare it to, you know how Ace of Emeralds plays in that video where he goes out and he takes all the golds and stones and then he falls back home? There's a very similar thing here where you're tossing a lot forward, but you've got nothing to hold it, right? You're tossing a lot forward. Whereas what's probably best is to have something to hold the position and then take it, right? Now, if the walls weren't so close together and you, like, drop some stuff over here, it's maybe, like, a different situation, but you build up those buildings, you're basically like, hey, come at me if you've got no control. Okay, we see upgrades coming in for Red. He really wants to go for conics. You can only produce conics from castles. You can only produce conics from Krepos. He's using his trebs now. He's actually added some walls here. He's trying to take out Blue's trebuchets. Wow, Blue's going to repair this too. That's cheeky, man. And he doesn't have his Steppe Lancers here. And the conics could come in here, and Sir Saul Goodman might be able to hold on. Saul, take out the trebs. There you go. Elite Conic's not in yet, though, and I don't think he has the numbers, so he's probably going to get wiped. He, of course, is panicked, so he's clicked after the treb. It's kind of funny. His own walls are blocking his path there. T90, when you're doing treb versus treb, what do you recommend? Can you be more specific? So, treb versus treb is not usually a bad thing, but I think what I could probably give you information on is when do you do it and when do you not. So, like in Blue's position, you kind of can do whatever, right? Because you've got the control. In Red's position, you definitely want a treb war. I think what a lot of people that can't decide on, though, is like in Blue's position, do you attack his trebs or do you attack his buildings? If they've got 2 trebs, here's a general rule of thumb. If they've got 2 trebs only, you go after the buildings. If they have more than that, you probably want to address their trebs. And obviously, like right now, Blue could also just run in and kill the trebs with military, but obviously repairing is a big deal too. So pulling 5 villagers to repair is something that can swing those situations. Guys, I talked about follow-up, right? I talked about that pressure. And Blue is getting more and more production, which is good. But I do believe conics are going to be the better unit when compared to the Steppe Lancer. The problem for Red is Red's just like, oh, taking fights way too early. Oh, God. You could have freaking war elephants with Persians, you'd still lose this fight, man. It's the pressure, man. The pressure. The trickling, man. Also, it just hurts so much. Like, remember that the unique tech for Bulgarians gives all of their cav 25% more attack speed. Oh, excuse me. It actually, I could be wrong. I think it might actually be 33%. They've made changes to it in the past. Anyways. So with that said, he could have 25 or 33% faster attacking Cavalier, and he could have 12 stables, just spamming them. Similar to the Steppe Lancers here with Blue. I really like the Steppe Lancer as a unit. I would love to see Halbs. Like, Halbs here, get some pointy boys out there to poke the pointies. You know, that can work. But Steppe Lancers are a really tricky unit if they get the snowball on you. A good job from Blue. I've reached a point now with a lot of my casts where I get proud of players. I don't know Brock Higgs, but I'm proud of Blue because I see a lot of players fail to continue to follow up attacks. And then for Red, it's just like super casual. Like, okay, take your time. No, we're housed. And this is all, you're like, why T90? Why? Is it because he's worse? Is he just a noob? Well, it's Loey the Legends, right? They have their faults. but it's because he planned for all this to exist, all these buildings. So now he's like made so much work for himself. It's like, that's exactly what he sounds like, I'm sure. Also, no bloodlines out of the stable. You need that. That's minus 20 HP on these conics. That's really helpful. Also, you could see the difference. No husbandry. These things are slow. Finally has the confidence to come out here with his trebs. Blue says, oh, okay. I'll eat that, thank you. And Blue goes in after the trebs. We'll take the trebs. We'll take the conics, as expected. It's a numbers game. All about the numbers. Gotta love how the rider gets up afterwards, but unfortunately that isn't going to be too helpful here for red. Blue needs more trebs, needs to continue to push red. Also maybe snag this relic, but is taking the extra gold. So you see the approach. You use your economy to push out across the map, not push out across the map, and then fall back to economy. You want to build up towards everything. The gains now, so you get additional melee armor for your two-handed swordsman if you're red, which does not help you if you click the siege workshop from the enemy. Common mistake. You want to patrol in there or put your units next to it on attack stance. If there's no units, they will take care of the workshop, but if there are units, they'll go after the units. And red is completely desperate. Sees the trebs, needs to go after the trebs, falling apart, falling apart, falling apart, falling apart. And blue is about to have the number that I like to see of trebuchets, 4. And I think it's... I mean, I've watched red play this entire game. I really think that the struggle is real right now. I don't see... Even though the resources are there to do something, I don't think Sir Saul Goodman, not Sir Gaul Sudman. I don't think it's going to be possible here. Just a better approach from blue. Just a better approach from blue. Now, I did say that dropping a Krepost is strong, but if you're going to go for the forward investment, make it count, right? Drop it on his face. Don't do any of this passive stuff. Okay, now we have buying of stone here from red. How many castles has he lost? Like, I'm pretty sure he lost 2 before. And also 2 Krepos, and now he's about to lose a 3rd, and now he's about to lose a 4th, and now he's making a 5th. So many castles going down. But it's going backwards, right? Instead of building first castle at home and moving out across the map like blue, well, you have red doing the opposite order. I think a lot of players are like, what? I took map control in arena. And a lot of players fall into the same trap that red has fallen into here. Blue is not necessarily going for the most ferocious push possible, right? Like, he's still giving red opportunities to stay alive. Wait, is this actually even right now? 94 pop versus 99? No way, dude. No way that's actually the reality right now. Come on, red. Call Saul. All right, I know you're not the real one. Call Saul and make something other than conics. Or make Krepos. He's going to lose his monastery, I think. He did snipe quite a few trebs over the last few minutes. Humans do not have very good range units to mix in. But if you're going to make them and you have the castles, which blue does, I would say go for the kip checks. Good work. Continuous pressure on the sides from blue. Oh, he got through. Uh-oh. And red's going to try and run. And that gate's going to open. No, no, no. Let him die. Oh, he noticed it. Red just lets him die. He doesn't want to open the gate. Castle will go up. Big problems on both sides for red. Still not producing conics. Falling apart, falling apart, falling apart. So do yourself a favor. Okay? Do yourself a favor. And if you're going to build stuff in the middle, and if you're going to invest in the military on a map like Arena, make it count. Pressure with it. Okay? If you're not going to do that, focus on that economy. Worry about the buildings a little bit later. Then you can worry about pushing out. It's a nice little natural progression, as we've seen here from blue. I think it's really easy to look at red right now and be like, OMG, like he's got resources, he's got this, but it's 650 elo, and he's behind. And when you're behind, you miss out on a lot of stuff. You struggle to keep up with the pace of the game. And I think you just argue that he's behind due to the decisions of the, oh, nice snipe, of the placement of things. Let's actually look at the APM because I'm curious. Okay, so it's definitely not a speedy game overall, right? This makes sense because red has more eco right now. Also has clicked a bunch of villagers away from dying recently where blue hasn't. So, whoa, red peeking with, whoa, what's he doing, bro? What did he just do? This guy just went god tier APM. Was that the market? Does using the market spike? Whoa! What the? 185 actions per minute. This is why I've said ever since this was introduced, by the way, that the APM is a deceiving stat. Because there's certain things like make it look like you're really fast or even really slow with how you play the game. And I don't think clicking the market necessarily means you're a faster player. I mean, maybe he does click it faster than most. Who am I to judge? Wow. Like, another thing is a scroll wheel. So if you use a scroll wheel for something, like I use scroll wheels for idols, for example. And if I, like, scroll to all my idols, if I have 50 idols, it makes my APM spike like crazy. And the other thing that's deceiving is some people... Like, when you guys boom, when you guys create eco, do you cycle through your TCs like this? Or do you just use select all TC to create your vills? Some people do both, right? But for me, in the mid game, I very rarely cycle anymore. These days, I program myself to use the hotkeys. And so I play against a lot of people who do this. And so that's adding APM to the stats, right? Because so, you know, it's just a lot of different examples. Saul, you are so freaking stubborn. You have lost so many castles, and you just refuse to go for another unit here. Like Saul deserves to lose this game. He just continues to try and go for these freaking conics. And it's just not going to work, my friend. It is just not going to work. Here comes blue, going for another castle. Here comes red. Finally has bloodlines, so now has fully upgraded conics. To red's credit. Is a beastly quick waller, so makes the siege workshop here. I guess to just block it off because he thought that the gate was going to open up there. But yeah, the gate is going to open up. These villagers can actually be hit through the gate, which is pretty freaking cool. Only with step lancers. And of course the rams are going to take out the gate. So for poor Saul Goodman, things have fallen apart here. Up, APM spike. Let's check. Up. He's, oh, geez. Really skewing the stats here just to make him feel better near the end. Okay. Good work there. Good work from red. And he's just trying to get gold for more conics. These conics would have to be really strong to work when it's 5 or 2 against 56. Guys, is Mega Random in the map pool right now? I feel like it's not. Does anyone know? I feel like it should always be in the map pool. I think Arabia, Arena, and Mega Random. And maybe even Nomad should always be in the map pool. It is. Okay, people are telling me it is, or now someone's saying it's not. Because I kind of want to do a Mega Random game next. I don't think it is for 1v1s. I don't think it is. And red, hey, credit to red. Red had some struggles in this game. It hasn't been the easiest ride. Had some trouble with the DEA and got through it. Or it doesn't get through it, so here says the GG, calls the GG, gives it up. Oh, man, what a sad thing to see, though. 72 total conics. 72 total conics. And I don't think I saw a fight where red had more than 20 at once. Just constantly sending them in. Because he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. I hope someone out there, I know there's a lot of lurkers, people who don't want to speak up, you know, people who are like watching on their TVs or their phones or whatever. I hope someone learned from that. If you're going to build, if you're going to go supplies and make military and feudal on arena, you can do that, but pressure a little bit with it. You know, force some reactions. Put your opponent under pressure. And if you're going to drop a Krepost I think particularly when he did early castle age, drop it on your opponent's face. And then boom behind. Because then what happens is they're under pressure, so Blue can't do everything he just did as easily, right? Because he's got something to deal with right now. This wasn't anything to deal with. That was just there. There was no pressure to that. So forward Krepos, early castle age, make it happen. Then you can move behind. Then Blue probably is an imp later than he is. He does a lot of different things. Hope it helps. Might not help. You might realize now that if you just want to psych the opponent out and make them feel worse about themselves when they use Capture Rage to watch the games afterwards, that you can spam the market. Today we learned that. There's the KD. 280 kills for Blue. 152 losses. Well played from Blue. There wasn't really a lot of... I'm not trying to take away anything from Blue here, but Red did Blue a lot of favors. Like, Blue didn't have to do many tech switches. Blue could just kind of stick with Steppe Lancers and Trebs, and that's not going to be every game. But what Blue did a good job on was the consistent pressure, following up with forward castles and Trebs constantly, which is something that a lot of players do struggle with.